So, I've been kind of short of time to do these videos, but I think this one's pretty important. So I did a video quite some time ago about the movie I Am, or shall I say, I Am Legend with Will Smith. William Smith. The predictive programming and the what can best be described as Gematria predictive programming is pretty extensive. So bear with me as I get some research. This, hi Chris, is half the data that I go through and talk about. Pardon my not being completely organized on this. I follow my heart. I am being led to do stuff. I just do it. And that's just my thing. It's what I do. So let's get started about I Am Legion. In the movie with Will Smith, I Am Legion, they come up with a cure for cancer. And then they give it to the people and then accidentally create zombies. And it happens in Manhattan. Well, ironically enough, truth is stranger than fiction. So us truth seekers, us conspiracy nuts, we've been looking for the outbreak of zombie apocalypse for quite some time. We also thought it might be related to some of the Wi-Fi and some of the thing that everybody got. So this is going on about 3 years of looking at this data and trying to find when or what will break out. The term, the meta term, is called necromorphosis. Oh, well, hey Perps, good to see you. If it's your first time here, welcome. So everybody, there's 46 in the chat. I'm sure the numbers will grow. I study iconography, archaeology, architecture, longitude, latitudes, eschatology, gematria. What we're witnessing here on a global scale is the World Economic Forum, Freemason Jesuits, better known as the Knights Templar that have been morphed into... The roast. Oh, yes, please. Thank you, Sharon. That's my wife. Forgot a roast on the barbecue. So what we see globally is this attempt to take over mankind. In some of the letters from Albert Pike and the Freemasons and the Jesuits, got all sorts of hair going on there. I just got a bad hair day, that's why. They said we're going to have a third world war. In the Fatima prophecies in Portugal in World War I, there was going to be a catastrophic event at the end times. We do believe we're close to the end times, whether the enemy is using the Bible as a template or whether it is actually unfolding unbeknownst to them or if they're doing it on purpose. We know this to be the case. That's why I study the eschatology side of this. We know that the King James Version has been redacted. We now have a copy of the Decipher from Decipher.net. I encourage all of you to get a copy before, as they did already in UK and EU, ban the Bible on the internet. The Bible is a book of his story. And forgive me, folks, if I haven't quite followed the chat. We'll get into the chat in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about this decode on I Am Legion, or shall I say, I Am Legend. When we looked at this and I first did this decode, the funny thing was that Will I Am played this character in the movie Legend, I Am Legion, the demon that was cast out. It turns out that this is more true than fiction. So as I continue, let me show you what I have. And again, the idea is, we're going to talk about world politics too. The world elite want us to kill each other. They want out of order chaos. So they have to have chaos before they have order. They want us to kill each other. If you understand that America and Canada are the last bastions of a well-armed society, when the Chinese fleet admiral was asked, why didn't you attack the American mainland, he said, quote, because behind every blade of grass there is a gun, unquote. That is to say that the Freemasons and the Jesuits out of the Vatican are committing murder, sedition, treason, and genocide. I repeat, the Freemasons and the Jesuits, the Zionists, those who worship the Talmud, not the Torah, not the law, not the Ten Commandments, not the Old Testament, they worship the Talmud. Big difference. There's Zionists and Jews. There is Israelis and there is Hebrews, but there's really no such thing as Jews. They're Zionists. They're the Khazarian Empire, and they run from the bloodline of Esau. God loved Jacob and hated Esau. When we look at eschatology and then I look at modern day inscriptions and understanding of Scripture, I keep on running into groups of people in the belief and the theology of harpazo, which is rapture, to be violently snatched up, and they misinterpret the timelines. And I'm no pro, but I also don't shovel hope. I'm telling the truth. I'm seeing what's coming, and I watch their iconography and I watch their predictive programming in their movies. So we talked about Charlie Kirk's death being a ritual murder. So far, if you marriage this with Barack Obama's statement in his famous speech, he said, let's flood the public square, that means the media, all the media outlets, all of the people that are watching this nonsense, let's flood the town square with as much raw sewage so they won't know what to believe. And that's exactly what Barack Obama said, and that's exactly what they're doing. In Albert Pike's letter, he said, let's have the Third World War based on Russia and Ukraine and this Zionism against Christianity, Muslims against Christians, gay against straight, and worker against employer. And this is directly out of the Communist Manifesto. Communism came from Bolsheviks. They came from the Khazarian Empire. It comes from the bloodline of Esau. When you chase down the origins of communism and the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and in China and in now America and all other free nations, it is the same playbook over and over again. Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. So they want us to fight each other and be distracted with all this nonsense while they murder us. Literally. This is the calling of humanity. That's it in a nutshell. That's what they're doing. They want to depopulate the world. In the Georgia Guidestones, clearly written in the epitaph, it says, keep the population under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, with the Freemason square and compass right in their epitaph and a time capsule underneath. Now I'm going to show you some stuff, and you could take this information and do what you want with it, and it doesn't matter to me. I encourage you to take it to prayer and to have discernment. So, okay, now a lot of the decoders have already looked at this and done major decodes. So I'm just going to show you, for those people that don't understand what's going on, I'm just going to step through this. This is the Georgia Guidestones. This is what you're going to see. You take off the tape off your cameras because your cameras are monitoring your every move. The Georgia Guidestones. It was an epitaph that just came up on the devil went down to Georgia. Charlie Daniels, who wrote the song, died in a very specific date. This was destroyed on a very specific date, George Bush Sr.'s birthday. These are all rituals. And in this epitaph, it was very clearly written out by Freemasons, just like the square and the compass in the Georgia Guidestones, just like the airport, the New Denver World Airport. For those that don't believe that we are being murdered and called, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So, if you don't want to believe the fact that the World Economic Forum, the Freemasons, the Jesuits out of the Vatican, and the banks, the ones that are the money changers that Yeshua tipped the table over and told them, you den of vipers, the same people that are running the world are the same people that own all the banks. Vanguard, BlackRock, and Wayfair, they own all the banks. They own all the media. They own all of the food corporations. And the Freemasons and the Jesuits were the puppets and the monkey tards that brought this genocide that is upon us. This genocide is a fact. You could do with it what you will. By the way, if there's bots and trolls, I'm not paying attention to you. But if the moderators come in, I've just given you fair warning. Hello, everybody. Hey, I'll just give you fair warning, bots and trolls. I've told all the moderators to kind of boot you out if you're going to be rude or just indignant, because we just don't have time. We're trying to save lives and we're trying to save humanity here. So, the New Denver Airport, same thing. We're just going to look at this briefly and set up the stage for what I'm about to talk about. Now, the New Denver Airport, they built this airport. Just so you know, they took 1/3 of the amount of dirt underneath of the Panama Canal. So if you can imagine digging the Panama Canal, 1/3 of that dirt was taken out from underneath this. This is definitely a dumb, deep underground military bunker. Okay? And so when I posted some of this stuff, I got instantly banned and barred for posting this stuff. And so I'll start with some of the art because this was telling. This is at the end of the art. So what you see here is the war and the two doves and all the children of all the nations in peace under this big, beautiful rainbow, and everybody's happy, 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 happy. Now, these murals were specifically painted and created, and it's telling you what they're going to do and are doing and what they intend to do. And so when I look at some of these murals and we get deep down into some of these awful murals, you will see burning buildings, the phoenix, you will see children trying to save nature, this poor little leopard and all of these animals, and this child dead in the coffin. And so in their predictive programming and in their art, that's why we study iconography and their evil art, is that we're coding what they're showing you, what they're going to do. Now, a lot of people have different interpretations of this, and they're allowed to have their interpretations and their ideas, but when you study the occult long enough, you will see a pattern, a distinctive pattern of what they're doing. So here, for particular, is one of the ones I want to talk about. It's this man of war stabbing the dove, and all of these children, and all of this death. Now, the epitaph that is done with the New World Order, New Denver Airport, and this blue horse they call Lucifer, with the glowing eyes, you have to understand their coding. You have to get smart about how the enemy is communicating and what their plans are, because many die for lack of knowledge and wisdom, while these politicians, these Freemasons and these Jesuits run around and commit murder, sedition, treason, and genocide. So let me get started with the next thing. I'm going to turn this camera over and we're going to talk a bit. So when I show you this stuff, I want you to understand that nobody's going to believe unless you do your own research. So this next web page I'm going to show you is very unique. It's called Gematria. It's one of many calculators. For those that have a pen, yeah, it fell over and killed its sculpture. Absolutely, Rob. Gematrianator. You want to copy this down, take a screenshot or whatever you want to do. This is a calculator. So I'm going to click on it. There's one of many calculators. But if you go up here you've got the home, calculators, tools, blogs. And in this area, if you log in, what you're going to find is that there is all the calculations that were ever done. So there was one movie in a predictive programming movie called The Truman Show. And it was heavily coded with Harry S. Truman, the 33rd president, in 1933, who dropped the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and the Manhattan Project. Now remember that, Manhattan Project. What brought me to tell you about this is now going to go full circle with the movie Legend. Now, this movie Legend, it's actually I Am Legend. Just let me find it here. Okay, so I'm going to just go to images just to show you what we're talking about here. So in this movie, I Am Legend, you have to get the Bible phrases correct. He says, I am that I am. William Smith is William. And the movie Legend is talking about these zombies that were created by coming up with what? A cure to cancer. People took this and then they turned into zombies. Now, we've seen this if you do some research, and I'm not going to get deep into it because I'm trying to cover a lot of bases here. You've seen the actual footage of them talking about the mRNA and the gene CRISPR or the gene editing technology. And they said almost for the exact same words on the opening of this movie. Oh, well, we do this and we do this and it's cure to cancer and it's awesome technology and it's all great. However, that's not the case. So the world's first legal gene editing therapy was done May 15th, 2025. The Chinese scientist that did the gene editing was Jianku Hui, and I'm probably mispronouncing it and I don't care, in 2019, and he was arrested and did jail time. Lo and behold, there's another Chinese scientist out of Canada who's a Canadian named Kathy Tai. And she's a Canadian and she's the owner of a genetic screening company like me and Generation 3 or whatever. They're actually taking people's DNA and saying, we'll find out your ancestry. Notice that that company, by the way, was sold and that all that genetic material was sold. And therefore, all of those people that signed waivers saying, will my DNA be secure, they were all lied to. So all of those people who donated their DNA to find out if they're close relative to Aga Khan or whoever, they have all that genetic material that they're going to use. So Kathy Tai, a Canadian owner of a genetic screening company funded by Peter Thiel, we know he's totally connected in the occult, and to the billionaire oligarch monster Frankenstein, World Economic Forum, Freemason, Jesuit traitors that are all Zionists committing murder, sedition, treason, and genocide. And Kathy just happens to be married to this Jianku Wei. So it doesn't take much to connect the dots to the fact that this woman who's doing gene editing and has thousands, if not millions, of people's DNA, unbeknownst to them, is going to start what they call a Manhattan Project. And there you have it. The Manhattan Project is called the Manhattan Project from the bombing of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. But if you do the decode on that, there's 33 and the Freemason numbers all day long in that decode. Now, in this pile of data, and there's tons of more of that data that I have, in all of that data randomly, if I were to tell you where or what that data is, it wouldn't matter. I have it here somewhere, and it shows you clearly that Nagasaki and Hiroshima was a ritual murder, period. And if you go to Gematria and calculator and go in the archives and type in simple Jim Carrey's movie, you will see the data. And it's basically 33 all day long. 33 cases of COVID in Los Angeles, 33 cases of COVID in California, 33 cases of COVID in North Dakota. They use that 33 all day long. Charlie Kirk's assassination, he had 3 hats, 45, 45, 45, 11, 11, 11. 33 all day long. There's 33 coded in everything because they're Freemasons and they're Jesuits. There's a country within a country in the city of London. That's called the City of London Banking Cartel, and there's a country within a country with sovereignty, and it has an obelisk. In the Vatican, it's a country within a country, and they have an obelisk, the Eye of Ra worship. That's where all your evil Hollywood elite do all of this symbolism, and all of this Freemason hiding your hand in the coat nonsense in the monarchies, in King Charles, Prince Philip, whoever you want to mention that's of royalty or in leadership or in power or famous or rich. They're all in on. They're all Zionists. They're all Freemasons. They're all Jesuits. All of them. Now, here we have Donald Trump going to United Nations saying, I stopped this war and I stopped that war and I stopped the war in Iran and Israel and Palestine. Let me tell you something. They're still spraying the airs with chemtrails, poison. They're still producing poison food. They're still putting human meat in McDonald's and other franchise foods. They're still murdering our children. No war was stopped. They're still arming and moving munitions and triage units all over the world. If you watch these planes and these maneuvers, it's clear they're gearing up for war. Donald Trump goes to the United Nations and said, I'm awesome, I did this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. I don't see nothing but setting up the chessboard for total annihilation of each other. Now, this gene editing, this distraction of, oh, you know that Tylenol or acetaminophen, it causes autism. No, this does. What they give children when they're first born, perfectly healthy born children that have perfectly out of the womb, when they give that, that's what causes autism. Don't be mistaken that it was a Tylenol or acetaminophen or whatever. At RFA, if he's sitting there eating McDonald's on the Air Force One and they're mocking you with McDonald's, well, McDonald's and that big M, and if you know the history of McDonald's, it's grotesque. But a lot of people wouldn't realize that. A lot of people in paganism, steeped in paganism, wouldn't realize when they're singing Merry Christmas, Jingle Bells, that it's a pagan holiday, and Jingle Bells was the bells that were wrapped around the neck with bells on it, so the slaves running away for freedom, you could hear them running away and they could go chase them down in their one-horse open sleigh. You see, our history is a lie, and everything that is brought to us in our history is in mockery and scoffing and in absolute hatred of us. What are we? We're human. Hi, Mike. Blessings. Good to see you. Blessings, brother. Mike House goes in the house. He's a moderator. He's got a blue wrench there. I encourage you to subscribe to his channel. He could show you Gematria, and he could introduce you to numbers being letters and the ritual murders on celestial events and how it works and what's happening. So make no mistake about it. The first legal gene editing therapy on May 15th, 2025, they've already been doing this. And when I did this, I am legion, I am that I am, and the word legion, this morphing of putting your double helix into a triple helix and altering you. In 1 Corinthians it says, you are the temple of Yahweh, and woe unto those who defile their temple, they shall surely die. You just did a video about a half hour ago? Yeah, everybody here, 167. I'd subscribe to Mike Hausgo and check out his Gematria. And listen, the numbers don't lie. They're coding and speaking in secrecy. They use their hand signals. They do all of their stuff that if you're smart, you'd start paying attention, because you're not supposed to be a lamb to slaughter. You're supposed to be wise as serpent and as gentle as doves. Now, when I first heard this, and I went into Gematrianator, and if I were to try to find this for you, it wouldn't matter. At some point, you're going to have to do some sort of research. But I could guarantee you that this is real, it's happening, and that we are supposed to prepare each other, love one another, help one another. Now, I'm just going to try this out and show you. And see where we go with this. The Truman Show. So here, I'll show you. Here it is here. Let me just get that light out of the way a bit. Gematrianator. You go into search results. I typed in Truman Show. Here it is here. Truman Show and the connections to Truman's World War II bombings. You click on that. And then I'll just walk you through it. Again, I encourage you to do your own research, but everybody could do this. It's not rocket science. It's not hard. Get educated, get smart. Ad choices. No, thank you. No, thank you. Adrenochrome. See, that there is 666 all day long. Adrenochrome. I don't want the adrenochrome logo on there, but it doesn't matter. So listen. The Truman Show was about people living under a dome who was being filmed and watched, and everything in his world is fake, and that's exactly what's happening in our world right now. Exactly. But they mock and scoff you and put it into a video and say it's just a movie. The day of the year, June 5th, 156. Truman, Burbank, the character, 156 in simple ordinal. 156 ordinal gematria is the number 33. 33, 156. You could do the calculations yourself if you don't believe it. Harry S. Truman. In 1945, Franklin Roosevelt, who took office in the year 33, died during his fourth term. His vice president, Harry S. Truman, became the 33rd president. Harry S. Truman, a traitor, a Freemason, a Jesuit. Harry S. Truman, 1056. You always take out the zero in gematria. You take the zero out, so it's 156. Emperor Shaiwa was 156 in regular ordinal. And so when you look at the codes, it's undeniable that these monsters dropped 2 nuclear bombs on these people, and it was a nuclear holocaust. Holocaust means burnt offering. And they have the nerve to say, oh, Auschwitz, oh, 6 million people, oh, really? Nuclear strike, 156. Nuclear attack, 156. The gentleman, the program was called the Manhattan Project, led by Leslie Groves, headquarters Oak Ridge, Tennessee in 1942. Leslie Richard Groves Jr. In reverse, 33. You take away the zero. Leslie Groves in reverse Sumerian, 156. Oak Ridge, Tennessee, 156. Take the zero. The final nuclear attack on Japan fell exactly 156 weeks after the Manhattan Project began. 156 weeks. Is that a time marker for the William I Am event and the zombie apocalypse? We don't know. 1560 days. The 156 prime number is 9/11. Where have we seen 9/11? The 45th president and the 47th president. 4 plus 5 is 9. 47. 4 plus 7 is 11. There's your 9/11 all day long. This 9/11 is a ritual coded number as well. Sharon, can you bring me a plug-in? When we look at these codings of these numbers, the numbers are undeniable that they ritually had a Holocaust in Japan and killed those people, period. 156 and 9/11 are 33, and 33 are all connected to the code ritual human sacrifice. Ritual human sacrifice, 156. Ritual human sacrifice, 9/11 in satanic gematria. Now, let me just talk here a bit while I plug in my phone. If I show this evidence over and over, and I reach one person a day, alleluia. Now, let me just make a very clear distinction. I said alleluia with an A, not halal-alleluia, not like halal meat, not like Lucifer, his real name is halal. Now, how deceived are you that you would be a Christian and you would say, oh, hallelujah. But I'm going to show you his name. Now, pay attention. This is the Sefer. This is from Sefer.net. When you buy this book, you will find the preface. He is the Aleph and the Tav. In the preface, you will find the reasons why all of these letters and all of these books were put back in and why the names were changed back to their original names. Jesus, in Greek. Joshua, Yeshua, in Greek. When you see that the names were changed, Pay close attention to this. Halal from Isaiah is a well-known as only place in Scripture where some Bibles have substituted the name Lucifer. The Freemasons call him Lucifer. Yet the name Lucifer, light bearer, does not actually appear in the original Ivrit. It doesn't appear in there. They put that in. So it says, how art thou fallen, O from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? That's not the proper verbiage. That's the King James Version. When you notice that the name is this, the term reading right to left looks conspicuously like Ched, Yod, Lamed, Lamed, or Hyll, or hell. Understanding that the vowels were non-prevalent at the time. The pronunciation, however, places more vowels, yielding halal. There are but two angels identified in the Protestant Bible, Mechiel, Guvriel, both with the suffix L, both ending in the identifier L. We have the same condition with Halal, leading to the possible conclusion that the word is actually the name of an angel. In this case, possibly the fallen angel, Halal. However, the same word may simply be the word Yawel, yet with a he as a prefix. So it should read, how you have fallen from heaven, O Halal, son of the howling morning, how you are cut down to the ground and did weaken the nations. Hey, Joseph. Great to see you, brother. Joseph Aquaviva's in the house. He's got hundreds, if not thousands, of Gematria decodes. For those who have not subscribed to Joseph Aquaviva, I would encourage you to do this. So you have to understand, when I'm showing you these things, and when I'm talking about this, and I'm just going to move the light again, and I'll bring this laptop a little closer. When I talk about the Gematria Nader archive, and this in particular, the Gematria Nader calculator regarding the Truman Show and the coding of the Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombing, Burbank 137, the 33rd prime number is 137, ritual sacrifice 1506, you take the 0, ritual human sacrifice in satanic 9/11. What I'm trying to tell you is there's another sacrifice, another ritual, another Holocaust, a burnt offering. Atom bomb 33 in ordinal. Fat Man, the name of the other bomb in Sumerian 33. The bombings were completed 3 weeks, 3 days after Trinity test. Monday, July 16th, 1945 through August 9th, 1945, 3 weeks, 3 days. That's how these people operate. If you need proof that they're planning a Black Swan event, they're arming up for an Armageddon / World War III, I don't know how much proof you need when they're telling you that this CRISPR technology and their new Manhattan project of gene editing and crisping technology is happening right before you, and they happen to call it the Manhattan Project? Come on. I've been warning about this I am Legion, I am Legend, because it says, Rabbi, he is our rabbi, but Yahushua, did you come to torment us before our time? Leave this body. Who are you? And he says, we are Legion, we are many. Notice that the transgender and the people that are slightly confused and demonically possessed talk in we are thee, they, them, plurality. In Canada, we had Jigman Singh, a controlled opposition Freemason Jesuit traitor, say the same thing. Oh, these twin-spirited people, they're trying to find their way in reality. You were born a man or you were born a woman, and all other people are gay or lesbian. Fine. not a problem. But when you start talking about the alphabet community and there's more than one sex and you need 15 washrooms and the second P is pansexual, pan meaning having sex with demons, I kind of have a problem with that. Just saying. The 33rd square number is 1089. The first atomic bomb fell 1089 days after Manhattan Project began. Again, the numbers don't lie. When they're calling the CRISPR technology that they just did in May 15th, 2025, Jiankui Wei, who was arrested for doing this in 2019, who married Kathy Tai, Canadian owner of genetically screening company funded by Peter Thiel, and Kathy's married to this Jiankui Wei, and they called it the Manhattan Project, and it's been legalized. I would be very concerned if these monsters can do this, a couple nuclear bombs, which they weren't nuclear, they were hydrogen, and murder hundreds of thousands of people. There's going to be a big problem. World lie flipped upside down. 317. The name of Leslie Richard Groves Jr., 1946 in Latin. 33 minus 666. 33, 66, 60. World War II, 60, 66. Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor. Why is that important? Building 1 fell. Building 2 fell. Building 7 fell. On the 12th month and 7th day was the bombing of Pearl Harbor. 12/7. The bombing and 9/11. Building 1, Building 2, Building 7. That's how they operate. He became the president on April 12th, the day of FDR died. April 12th, 60, 66. We have to revisit some of these codes because people will not wake up. Now listen, again, I say to you with a kind, loving heart, there's no fear porn here. There's no hopium here. There's just reality. And the reality is that 9/11 and 119 inverted, it's upside down. Truman was born on the date with a primary numerology of 116. 1st, 29th, 1967 is 116. They reverse and they invert upside down. They speak in reverse. Remember the good old days when you could play a Led Zeppelin record in backwards and it would say whatever? Barack Obama's statement becoming president. Yes, we can. Played backwards. Hail Satan. Hiroshima bombed 116 days after he took office, while Nagasaki bomb fell 119 days after that same date. Do you get it? Reversed, upside down. The atomic bomb fell 119 days after he became president, ending World War II, and it was nicknamed Mark III. World War II. In ordinal, 116. Atomic bomb, in capitals added, 119, reversed. They speak in code all day long. They speak in color. 102. The Pope is in suite 102. World War 102. The bombings concluded 102 days after his birthday. Do you understand? Yes, we just did, yeah, Mike. Yeshua is King, hallelujah, yes. My name is my name, beautiful. We are here to wake people up and to warn people of what's coming, that's all, okay? That's all I'm doing here is just showing you these people have taken your DNA and now they're manipulating humanity. When the Queen lit those lights and there was 3 strands of light, you have 2 strands of light. When you do the decode in the numerical value, it's Yod He Vav He, the tetragrammaton. If you add a 3rd strand, it comes up to 6,666. They're destroying humanity. thing bringing about the end times prophecy on purpose. Unbeknownst to them, maybe these leaders don't know what they're doing. I don't know. All I know is it's happening. In the book of Hanok, right here in this book, in the Sefer, get a copy of it. That's the only original texts that match the Ethiopian scrolls and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Get to know your Father. It's real. It's a book of his story. I see the verbiage being repeated. People are finally waking up. Charlie Kirk's murder or death or ritual or fake murder and death and ritual happened. The gematria is all over the charts. My wife just showed me a video of the bullet coming from behind and popping out his neck. I've seen the trap door. I've seen the chair that fell through another chair. I've seen the hologram picture, the camera of the hologram picture above in the tent. We've seen the technology of the holograms. We've seen the 2 shooters. We know that JFK had 2 shooters. You have to understand, Lincoln was shot in the back of the head. JFK was shot in the back of the head. Lincoln had a vice president named Kennedy. Kennedy had a vice president named Lincoln. One ran from a theater into a library. One was shot from a library and ran from a library into a theater. How far back in history do you want to go to see this ritual? How many times does humanity have to repeat these mistakes before we all stand up and we say, no more? Don't bite the race bait. Don't bite the hate bait. Ooh, Donald Trump went into the United Nations, went into the UK and said, stop massive immigration. Stop putting up immigrants in hotels and feed your homeless and your veterans. Ooh, Trump's the hero. He went to United Nations, say the same thing. You know, you guys, what UN, what are you good for? Nothing. United Nations. NATO, spelled backwards, OTAN. You notice they have the NATO logo and then it's spelled backwards, OTAN? Should that be an indicator? You have to look at the mural behind them to see who they serve. Who sits in the 666th seat in United Nations? It's still empty, isn't it? The Whore of Babylon sits where they had crucified him, and that is in Jerusalem, in the valley of Golgotha, and will be utterly laid waste. That's prophetic. It's not out of my mouth. That's out of this book. Why? Because the entire world will go against Israel when the world wakes up to the fact that it's been murdering us and depopulating and manipulating us with Francis Bacon, William Shakespeare, vulgar English, fictitious grammar called common law and maritime admiralty law, enslaving you and murdering you and experimenting on you from the beginning. From the beginning. They have been experimenting on you. They have been testing viruses on you. Don't get me started with Alcatraz or experimenting with LSD or Agent Orange in Vietnam or all of these pharmacies, and all of these big pharma experimenting on you, poisoning you with food, detergents, solvents, you name it. There is no love in them. There is no compassion. There is nothing but pure hatred for us. They are them. We are us. We are of him. They are of him. Halal. There's 2 species on the planet. The offspring of the Nephilim, the Nafal, the Elud, and the offsprings of Adam. Not Edom, Adam, ruddy. If you're compassionate and you are filled with love and you feel of understanding and comprehension, then you are blessed. In these end times that you're not asleep, you're awake, you're not awoke. Big difference. They lose a loved one, George Floyd riots, burn, fire, chaos. We lose a loved one, Charlie Kirk, perhaps part of the enemy, controlled opposition, we'll never know. You start to throw all those hand signals. That says I love you, but it also says devil horns. You see Eminem with the devil horns. I don't condemn Charlie Kirk. I don't know him. I don't condemn Donald Trump. I don't know him. I call no one. I just point it out. When you see this Donald Trump and they do this, they say, oh, that's the tip of the spear. That's the Space Force. You call it whatever you want. When you see a guy putting his hand in the shirt, oh, he's just tucking in a shirt. You say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Charlie Kirk's funeral was more like a rock concert than it was a funeral. Just saying. A humble Christian, a Nazarene, those that follow the Nazarene would want a humble, non-celebratory with fireworks and a huge stadium filled with a rock and roll stars funeral. We go quietly. You know why they buried Osama bin Laden at sea? And Ashley Babbitt at sea, if she was even dead? Crisis actor Ashley Babbitt, who got shot in the neck and there was no blood? That Ashley Babbitt? During the insurrection? They bury him at sea so they can't be martyred. Osama bin Laden, buried at sea, huh? Charlie Kirk's in Valhalla. Is that in South Africa? You have Kash Patel saying, don't worry, brother, we got this. We'll see you in Valhalla. That's a Norse god. That's a Norse heaven? Or Valhalla in what, Fiji? Under witness protection plan? Faking a death? Crisis actors? What is it? You got the same bodyguard as Donald Trump when he got shot in his ear, right behind him when it happened. Too many coincidences, too much fake everything for you to believe in anything but that book. It says in the end times it will be so full of deception that you would not know what to trust. My message to you today is simple. Trust no man, including me. Pray to your Father. Seek understanding and spiritual discernment, and you will see what I see. It's everywhere. It's in everything. I've done pictures and logos extensively to the point when you look at all of these pictures and logos, you go, oh my goodness, that's 33, that's 33, that's 33. Oh my goodness, it's everything. It's in everything. And you'll just go, wow, I never seen this world. I never seen this world like in fresh eyes. When you realize some things, you'll see repetitious, repetitive, nothing new under the sun, repetitive nonsense. I'm going to try to show you some stuff if I can. These people, with their iconography, have left a cachet of truth in their lives all day long. When you realize these things and you see these things, then you will understand. Now my computer's freezing up. Isn't that perfect? Yeah? I'll try one last time, and then if not, I'm going to end this video. I love all you guys. I wish you strength and courage as you move forward. All of these great fires that happened in our past burnt down all the Tartarian Empire. These stars that fell from heaven that happened a long time ago. This massive mountain that gave way in Jerusalem. These things have already happened. And what you're witnessing is the erasing of history. This is what you need to see and understand. Jesus, Yeshua, that is his name. I, Jesus. I, Jesus, Yeshua, ex Christos, Messiah. Theos, God. Yeos, Son. Soter, Savior. His name is Yahushua. The relative consequence of looking at these things and realizing that World War I adds up to 68, World War II adds up to 68, and the invasion of Ukraine adds up to 68. That's all you need to need. That's all you need to know. We're in World War III. Canada came out today saying they're going to send troops to Palestine. Are you going to start fighting against American citizens? A two-state solution of Palestine. Here's an original map of Palestine. Now, I'm sorry, but history tells a different story. That's Palestine, Lebanon. At some point, you have to realize our entire history is a lie. Now, all of a sudden, the Palestinians are the bad guys, and the Jewish guys are the good guys. All of your iconography, when you study the iconography, what deity do you worship when you buy these products? All of these deities, you say, I'll never buy Starbucks again. Do you realize when you take your large and you pour it into a small cup and it fits a small cup, how greedy do these billionaires have to be? How greedy do you have to be to sell a large as a small and a small as a large? We're in trouble. You have to understand everything that we know is a lie. That's a big red pill to swallow for a lot of people. Yeah. Mankind is kaput. It says that's fire in the shape of a palm tree, of an upside down trumpet. That's a nuclear mushroom cloud. I see a scroll flying through the air with wings of a stork or a pelican, depending on which scripture you're reading. Your eyes shall burn in your sockets, and you shall be destroyed by fire while you're still standing. That's nuclear war. When we understand that these people are not going to stop, when we understand how malevolent they are, then you say, how would they do this? Why would they do this? It's because they're evil. They've got a job to do. That's what they do. They will bring about the end times prophecies. They will do these things because that is what evil does. And they have all of these controlled opposition people pretending to be Christians, pretending to be truth seekers, pretending to do all this stuff. But in the end, it's all pretending. They're all theater. They're all to the point now where if you can't see and you can't hear and you do not comprehend, I can't help you. They're not even hiding it anymore. When you see these world leaders doing this, are you not part of some occult that you all got to do this? Hey, we're in love with the triangle and the Freemasons and the Jesuits, and yeah, we're all world leaders, and we're all committing genocide, sedition, and treason because we're all in this little occult. You see these occultists all hang out. He was at the World Economic Forum. This guy was at Epstein Island, creeped out the creeps. There's this guy who sold Canada down the river. Prince Charles came out with his portrait. They all wear the same shirt colored of his portrait. They're all dressed the same, squawk the same, talk the same. They all have their little red wristbands. Every single one of them have their little red wristbands. When they wear their little red wristbands, and I've seen it with Tucker Carlson, Madonna, all of these world leaders, they say, oh, pray for Ukraine. Why would we pray for that sigil of Moloch, Baphomet, the Tagma of the Harzarians? They worship Moloch. They take your children and burn your children alive in front of that statue. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is scary that the average person is totally clueless. I hope I reach one person today that hasn't seen this. Share this video. As above, so below. They all do this. This is World War I. They're all Freemasons. World War II, they're shaking their hands, crossing their arms. They do this all day long. That's your Gmail logo right there. And they all cross their arms. We have Trump doing it. We have all these politicians, Barack Obama doing it. And you say, oh, they're going to come and save us. No, they're not. They're going to continue on this for as long as we're deceived. 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. The star of Lucifer. This is not the Star of David. We are deceived. Walmart logo. It's in everything. When you understand, oh, Greta Thunberg and a flotilla with her one-eye symbolism. The little boy's playing a little girl, and oh, she's got the flotilla. As above, so below. The seal of Satan. The eclipse. The 7 churches called out assemblies on Christmas. Quebec opens up with his little hand signal. Who does that? They're telling you who they serve. Traitor, murderer, sedition, treason. That's all it is. This guy's seen with all of these world leaders. This guy here, Freemason Jesuit traitor, crisis actor, coconut, constantly sniffing his nose. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing and have been doing for millennia. If this offends you, be offended. You should be offended. There's the ones kicked out of every continent. For why? Because this is what they were doing to the children. And they take the blood. And there's Benjamin Netanyahu saying, oh, they're spreading rumors that we do this. I've got pictures of them washing their hands in our children's blood. There's your Freemason handshake. Little pinky there sticking out. Who shakes hands like that? Really? Over and over again, handshake after handshake. The symbolism is profound. There's your homosexual Prime Minister of Ukraine. Abomination and desolation. Barak meaning lightning. Obama from the heights. Black sun. The swastika. The Big Dipper spinning around the North Star. Cancer vaccine. What did I just start this video about? I am Legion. All of your Olympians, one-eye symbolism. All of your Hollywood stars, one-eye symbolism. Jehovah's Witness main church. You tell me that that's accidental? Disney 33 Club. This star of Rephaim, not Judea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 666. Freemason square and compass. Star of Rephaim, Shiva the destroyer. 666. All day long. The hat of Dagon, a fish god. That's the fish god there. The hat of a fish head. Pagan. Come out to for my people. It's a pagan occult, and they don't even know it. The 7 churches and the called out assemblies in the book of Revelations is also the exact 7 stars and the angels in the 7 churches. The Pleiades system perfectly overlaps that, just like the belt of Orion and the pyramids overlap. These children were raised in the cult, raped and MK Ultra'd, and then they become rock stars and pop stars and talking heads of their occult to indoctrinate their filth. In your dollar bill, 1, M, 2, A, 3, S, 4. Where's 4? 4, O, and 5, N, Mason. Hexes. Put a hex on you. Who do you serve? We've been taken over by an evil occult that has been running this world. There's Wayne Gretzky, number 99, with the Freemason owl. Oh, he should become president of Canada. Here's Justin Trudeau and Francis Macaron, both students of theater. He slept with his teacher, who was a boy, who became a girl. He slept with his student and was a teacher. Reverse roles, both. Who talks and touches each other like that as world leaders? They worship, and in many statues you'll see 6 toes. This is at the J. Edgar Hoover Dam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 toes, 6 fingers. And all your statues that you see that were destroyed, their statues were showing you who they worship. Pentagon, pentagram. Adrenochrome molecule, follow the white rabbit. Aleister Crowley, Anderson Cooper, Antichrist. Alice Cooper holding a white rabbit and a baby. White rabbit right there. Oh, I gave my life to Christ. Which Christ? Direct energy weapons, Mountain Dew and the decodes of Mountain Dew, 3. Coca-Cola, CC, 3rd letter, CC, 33. Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, board member of the World Economic Forum, all in the same occult. Brad Pitt, heroes to zeros. Oh, I thought Brad Pitt was cool. With his Freemason ring and his crisis actor, if he's even a boy, pretty boy, got some growth hormone to grow a beard. They're giving the Pope a crooked cross, red Kabbalistic. Prince Charles, he's not my king, best friends with Jimmy Savile, a known pedophile. They gave him medals for being a pedophile. Jimmy Savile raised the new prime minister right here. Keir Starmer, this guy was raping this kid as a child. And now he's a prime minister and he doesn't know what's going on? Come on. When they were asking an angel, asked to see, what do you see? He says, I see fire in lead. Sacrifice burnt in its entirety of fire. The detonator, that is a nuclear bomb. When the angel was showing our patriarchs what a bomb was, that's what they were seeing. They were shown fire encapsulated in that weapon. I could go on for hours. It doesn't matter. It's Nimrod's birthday, yeah. Yeah. Podesta brothers, yeah. Who killed Charlie? It was either a hologram and a hoax to bring about Christians to war against the Zionists, to invoke hatred and jealousy and anger in those that have no Ruach HaKodesh. We are drawn to hate each other. We are told to hate the Muslims. We are told to hate the Zionists. We are told to hate Donald Trump, to hate this and hate that. Hate no one. Love thine enemy. Pray for their enemy. Cast heaping hot coals on their head. You pray to your Father, you say, Father, let your will be done in their lives, that you would bring about this evil Ruko oath. We war against principalities and governments in high places. The evil Ruko oath that invade these people, that do these things, they're bringing about the prophecy. We pray for his will to be done. We do not judge. We say openly, they are evil. If Charlie Kirk was murdered, it was mostly done by Mossad. They do all the killing. None of the CIA and mafia, they're all owned by Mossad. Israel. The Zionists, they own it all. They control it all. They're the ones in control. And they are evil, filthy rich, and beyond human comprehension, evil. Or Charlie Kirk was one of them. And it's just a theater. Just like George Floyd. He was at his own funeral. It's all to invoke this energy that you would feed these demons with. Do not partake in the theater. Step back and say, I'm not protesting. I'm not going to war. And I don't buy any of this as real. I love thine enemy. I pray for the enemy. I don't judge Charlie Kirk. You have this great revival. You know what they're going to push that revival? To Catholicism. Sunday worship. Keep your Sabbaths holy. It was the Vatican that said it is our, quote, mark, unquote, to worship Sunday instead of the Sabbath. They're all pushing this Zionism. Their new religion is called Chrislam. They got a temple in Dubai already built. One world government, one world religion, one world currency. You want to coexist. Islam, Chrislam, Christianity, paganism, do what thou wilt, is what Aleister Crowley, Anderson Cooper, Antichrist said. They're going to push everybody into atheism with false doctrine and false hopium until people don't believe anymore. And they'll believe in the science and progress. They say peace and security and then sudden destruction. All flesh shall be corrupted if time was not cut short. Therefore, we're pretty close. They poison the food, they poison the skies, they poison the water. Now they're telling you, you can't think for yourself. We're going to feed you information and we're going to block your free speech. We're going to take out the Bible from UK and EU. So you better get a copy of the original Bible before it's too late. And I would stay in prayer and stockpile, pray, get spiritually ready, be meek. The meek shall inherit the earth, the ones that control emotions. Be not fooled. Be not biting the race bait and the hate bait. Listen, Donald Trump just went in there as a hero and said, your vets are sleeping in the streets. And you got all these immigrants in hotels getting 3 square meals a day. What's going on here, Keir Starmer? And he said that to the whole world. Why would that be allowed to happen? Well, because they want you to be angry and kill each other. Period. They want you to incite violence and war, just like 9/11. They bomb those buildings, so, we got to go to in Kuwait, and we got to go into Iran, and weapons of mass destruction. And News. North, east, west, south. News. Broadcast. Casting. Cast a spell. Tell a lie. To my television. Hollywood. Wood of holly. The spellcaster's wand. Break the spell. Throw your TV in the garbage. Unsubscribe to Netflix and Disney. 33-degree Mason. Get spiritually right, that you would have discernment and not be lambs to slaughter. For it says in Scripture, my children die of lack of knowledge. Alleluia. Yeah. Yes, it's finished. We're all targeted. That's what this AI monitoring is all about. I'll proudly go down singing Alleluia, praise Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahovah, Yahushua, before I ever be silent. I don't think Erica Kirk's for real either. I'm sorry, there's two faces there. They just flood the public square with raw sewage. We don't know what's real and what's not anymore. We really don't. And you have to be at peace with that. And in Scripture, it says that in the days of deception, they'll be so hard to distinguish AI from reality. Fake rubber masks, crisis actors, theater, that you wouldn't really know. And you know what? I've looked at tons of footage of Charlie Kirk's murder. And how he winched up and come out of his neck and he slunched over and the ring was on this finger and then it ended up on his pinky finger. Like I said, the hologram picture above, the hologram camera. You had all of those Charlie Kirk cameras rolling and not one of them were released. But you said all this footage all over the world that it was allowed to be released. They don't show violent assassinations on TV over and over and over again. But they allowed that because they want to promote rage, hatred, emotional trauma, drama, while they're doing something else. Passing electronic currency bills, handing out ammunitions to our enemies, funding war, billions of dollars for war, and nothing for the poor and the homeless. Billions of dollars. It's beyond human comprehension evil. And you have to be at terms with that, and you have to walk in faith. And the Ruach will be given unto you that you would see things clearly. Take it to your Father in prayer. All glory to Yahweh, his son Yahushua, that we would see these things and not be those people that are asleep right now. They're all walking through life like everything's normal. They can't see. Be not those people. You can see, you hear my words, take heed. Let no man deceive you. Fear not, for you are not given the spirit of fear. When you have fear, faith cannot dwell where fear is. Rebuke that fear. Get strong. Get strong in the spirit. This is spiritual war. No other weapon is more powerful than love and truth. You have to have that discernment first. You're going to be wanting to wring people's necks and choke them out. I see horrible things coming because people are going to lose it. They're already losing it. Don't be those people. Be prepared. Love one another. Comfort one another. Help one another be light of the world in these days. This guy says something here I caught. Big Baron, Ron, the church existed before Constantine. Learn history. This book is the truth. This New King James Version after Constantine and the Vatican and the Roman Empire is not the truth. The truth is his story and the prophecy is unfolding. And prior to the Second Temple and the Babylonian influence of the ones who worship the Talmud, not the Torah, then you will know. Read the book of Yashar. What is the mark of the beast? It is a digital ID. It's Fibonacci. It's the number of man. Man is made of carbon, 6 molecules, 6 electrons, 6 protons. It's your Fibonacci facial sequence, your thumbprint, your digital ID. We will not buy, sell, and trade without it. In China, everything's bought and paid for through the phones. Everything is digital. AI, the beast, the mark of the beast. It's all going electronic. You're in the matrix. Those that won't participate in the society, they'll turn your money off. You will not buy, sell, and trade without the mark of the beast. You have to have Google. You have to have digital ID. You have to have cryptocurrency. And if not, oh well, starve. We're that close. We're that close. Let he who have understanding reckon the number of the beast, for it is the number of man. Its number is 666. You want to see the actual number right out of the Codex Vaticanus? I'll show you. I've got a sensitive mouse, so bear with me. Right out of the Codex Vaticanus. Z.C. Stigmata, 666. In the name of Allah, 2 crossed swords. The number of the beast, 666. When you see, then you get it, and then you realize, okay, it's not what everybody said it was going to be, it's a little different. It's all a little different. These monsters, here's another good example. These monsters, Jim Jordan, Podesta, Epstein, Barack. Remember the poopy head, whatever his name was? They're all in the same class as children, and they all become world leaders because they're all in the same occult. They had the Last Supper at the Olympics. This is the same Last Supper. Who's in the middle? The Olympics opening ceremony was the same thing, a mockery of the Last Supper. That portrait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You start looking at the symbolism and you see it clearly. It doesn't change. The mockery continues. The opening ceremony for the Olympics, their transgender mockery. They had that right over her head. Come on. They hate him before they hated you. You don't fit in? Now you know why. Yeah. Hi, Kenley. Blessings to you. Drag queens, yeah. Yes. It hurts my heart to see these things. And oh, they apologized. Oh, we didn't mean to offend the Christians. Yes, you did. You meant to offend those people. How many decodes do you want to see? Look at this ritual. 201 ritual. He was 71, he was 76, he was 54, equals 201, sweet 201. Comes in threes. There's the red Kabbalah wristband, Tucker Carlson. There you are there, hanging out with the enemy, Pam Bondi. It goes so far back and it is so intensely coded, you won't believe what I know. Here's a good example of predictive programming. This is way before COVID came, PCR, DNA. Matt was murdered. They called him Batman. 3. The coding is off the charts. It's in all your movies. You'll see more as you become more alert and awake. The Mountain Dew, conspiracies, typhoon, flaming hot, Maui burst, Maui burnt to a crisp, the hot, typhoon, when the typhoons were hitting. You would not believe direct energy weapons. Two-headed bird, Mel Gibson, Jimmy Caviezel, crisis actors, one-eyed symbolism. Oh, they're the good guys. No, they're controlled opposition. Oh, everybody shakes hands like that. No, controlled opposition. That's a portrait of Satan himself. I don't know if he's Satan. He is a Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist. There are many Antichrists. There's Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer is a boy hanging out with Jimmy Savile, the pedophile. And all of a sudden, that boy becomes the Prime Minister of England. And they put all the hate on him. It's not Charles. Charles is innocent. When they have the one-eye symbolism, in Paleo-Hebrew, Ra, Resh, Rer, I, Ayin, Ra, evil, bad, harmful. Hebrew, Ra, evil, bad, harmful. Here I be single. Oh, how evil it would be. George Walker Bush, 177. Ring Mastery 2, 177. That Old Serpent, 177. Jesuit Order, 177. Paramount Pictures. The angels fell on Mount Hermon. All the stars around Mount Hermon, where they fell and made a covenant to sleep with humanoids and break their positions in the heavens. All of this iconography of the dome, Columbia Pictures, it's all showing you the same coding, the same iconography, the same evil. Paleo-Hebrew, Tav, 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 666, hell, blue demon, dragon. Look at this. And people say, oh, these are cool drinks. No, they're not. Why do you think the sigils matter? Because they're witchcraft. That's what they are. They're witchcraft. They're a form of witchcraft. Trump logo. Trump logo. T, 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 T. Swastika. And the Star of Rephaim. They made a covenant of death. These monsters made a covenant of death. And they have every intention of following through with that. The sniper that took out the guy who shot Donald Trump. Just so happens that he's wearing a red wristband. Just so happens. Just out of happenstance. Just coincidental. When you understand that you have to follow their protocol and they do their dirty deed, and we watch them commit these crimes, that we'll be watching them as Lazarus, he said, dip my finger and let me quench the thirst. Vicervis filii del. That equals 666. That's what it equals. Why is the American army having that Star of David in their sword? Why is that there? An American soldier's sword. Sputnik. Crisis actors, you see checkerboard floors. That night in Toronto with checkerboard floors. Look closely, you see checkerboard floors. It's a Freemason church, and they're showing this Sputnik to tell you that there's space and you don't live under the dome. And that NASA is telling the truth and everybody else is telling you lies. There they are again, doing their special little handshakes. Barack Obama, all little crisscrossing handshakes. Back in the good old boys, their checkerboard floors, committing murder. There's one temple in every town and city across America and Canada. These people are going to burn. And it's the evil ones that are going to do it. 4 horsemen, white, red, black, and green, all the same colors of the same flags. It's all been planned. It's all been planned. And we're at the time now where we're out of time. It had to end. The White Rabbit. This is the bells that they would tie around slaves' neck. And that's where your song, jingle bells, jingle all the way. That's what that song represents. And us stupid little people singing a song about slavery. This woman, if you get a chance to see her, I encourage you, she decodes all these songs. Mackenzie is an actress and who researches origins of well-known nursery rhymes. If you ever get a chance to see this beautiful artist, she's brilliant. She breaks apart all those songs. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill come tumbling after. It's about the head come tumbling down. There's your sigils. This is what I mean about satanic sigils. It's just a marker. Your psychological part pick it up, and it's witchcraft. It's all your emojis in your phone. It's very, very hidden. Look at these sigils. Look at these sigils. And then look at the electronic schematics. This was given to King Solomon from the angels, the Malak, the fallen ones, necromancing, spell casting. And they're all in on it. There's George Floyd, Freemason Jesuit crisis actor with a two-headed bird tattooed on his chest at his own funeral. And their martyr died and they burnt the city to the ground. Charlie Kirk dies and they hold prayer request, as above, so below. Another handshake. It just goes on and on and on. We got pictures back to 2017. Klaus Schwab, a deviant, dressed in his little fairy costumes, doing a deviant thing. Anderson Cooper, a Vanderbilt, and her boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever she's called, whatever it's called. Your alphabet is from the sky. Another deviant. It's just another deviant pretending to be somebody they're not. This guy dancing like a homosexual in some gay bar. I'm part of World Health Organization poisoning the entire planet with COVID vaccines and mandates. Looking for a boyfriend. Hanging out. Totally deviant. In your little gay bar. Birds of feather flock together. They all have one thing in common. Evil, malevolent, and they all wear their little red wristband, and they're all part of this occult, and they're all trying to murder us. Yeah. That was a sight. I threw up a bit in my mouth. And it never ends. It just goes on and on and on. And you have to understand something. The direct energy weapons are real. The military had every intention of doing this. This was in 1970, forest fire as a military weapon. And the direct energy weapons in Lahaina, in California, here in Canada, right at my own house, me being evacuated twice, back east and all over the world. These forest fires are not coincidental. They're weapons of mass destruction. And they're saying, oh, we don't know what's happening. It's climate change. We'll have to tax you to death to save the climate because, yeah, if you pay more taxes, it'll save the environment, right? I mean, that makes sense, right? If you pay more taxes, it should save the environment, right? And we realize something along the way of this awakening, that as hideous as it is to watch, many people have woken up and many people are blessed. The belt of Orion. Who should loosen the belt of Orion? The pyramids are perfectly lined up with the Orion, the hunter, Nimrod. They built these monuments. They're all over the world. High tech for an ancient society. We see these direct energy weapons. They were photographed by hundreds of people. These aren't fake. This isn't Photoshop. They're actually burning us completely out of house and home, taking a land grab. Their lithium mines and their nonsense. Pope Sixtus adds up to 666 all day long. There's me in my fighter gear. I'm going to close with this. If you're in Hinduism, get out of Babylon. If you're in Catholicism, get out of Babylon. If you're in Islam, come out of her, my people. If you're in Buddhism, come out of her. Judaism, come out. Freemasons, seek refuge and forgiveness. Gnosticism, Satanism, new narrow path Mormon, come out of her, my people. I hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, Nathan, yes. This is all about waking up and realizing that the world is run by an evil cult that is destroying humanity as we speak. It's finished. It's exposing the evil and giving people strength and courage to endure to the end. Yes. Ask God for discernment. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I'm going to close in prayer. O Yahweh Adonai Elohim Yahushua HaMashiach, our blessed hope, Emmanuel, Yah with us. Bless these people in the chat, all 118 of them. Friend or foe, you are welcome here. I love you all equally, Father. Bless these people, give them strength and courage and wisdom as you did me. All glory to you, Father, that these people that see this video, see these pictures and see this, that they would be not scared, that they would be emboldened and strengthened, and realize that we are faced an enemy that is wealthy, powerful, very intelligent, and extremely benevolent, Father. And we know that understanding the enemy, that we could look at them and not be scared, that you are stronger, you created all of this, and you give us strength, and no weapon formed against us shall prosper. We thank you in your holy, righteous name. Amen. Amen. Yes. Blessings to everyone. I love you all so much. Stay strong, stay in the power, stay in the word, stay in love, no hate. And be blessed. Share these videos. Maybe you share one video with just the right person and wake one person up a day. And hey, in closing, Joseph was here. Subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to these channels. They are showing you stuff. They're teaching you stuff. You can learn. You never give up. Blessings to all. I love you all so much, and I'm grateful for the moderators. Thank you so much. Absolutely. I am blessed to have moderators. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Bless all of you. Time is short. Today was the big rapture day. I'm sure a lot of people are kind of bummed. They were hoping that Harpazo was going to take place today with the Feast of Trumpets. Thank you, Mike. I really do appreciate your work. Thank you, Joseph. Okay. With great love and respect, take care. I hope this message finds you.